Is crypto down for the count, or is it coming back?
I think it's coming back. And obviously a lot of this is just going to have to do with the macro environment. You know, if we see markets crash again, we're going to see crypto crash along with it. If we see a market recovery, we're going to see a crypto recovery along with it. But I think this is, you know, it's flushed out a lot of the things that needed to be flushed out from the crypto space anyway.
Began, I think, a meltdown in tech values and also crypto.
Yep.
Did you get nervous that all of a sudden the world was going to fall apart?
Not super nervous. It's like, it was definitely going to be a rocky road for the industry. And, you know, you saw some businesses blow up when Bitcoin hit 20K. You know, if we saw things melt down much further than they did, right? If we saw, you know, NASDAQ drop 30, 40% from here and Bitcoin go down to 10K per token, I think you would see another round of pain for the industry that would potentially be more of a medium to long-term problem.
So let me ask you this. When the Bitcoin world was kind of going down a bit, I think Bitcoin peaked at 61,000 or something, and now it's at 23,000, but it went as low as
17, 18,000.
17, 18. When it did, a lot of other cryptocurrencies went down as well. You bailed out some companies.
Yeah.
What money did you use to do that?
So there were a few different versions of it, and you know, one piece of this was basically FTX balance sheet. Like, we keep our corporate cash just in dollars, and so, you know, we'd raised a few $1 billion over the course of the last couple of years, and we're a profitable business. Now we'd also done some acquisitions, which partially balances that out, but, you know, we had some cash left, and with the BlockFi, you know, deal, for instance, that was on FTX. I think FTX US's balance sheet.
Well, when Wall Street had its problems early in the 20th century, Mr. J.P. Morgan himself used to go out and say, I'm going to bail out certain companies, and you were called the J.P. Morgan of crypto. Did that bother you, or did not? It
doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I think it's something I thought was the right thing for the industry, and, you know, our very explicit mandate that we sort of gave to the team of people working on this was, your goal is not to make a fortune for us doing this. Like, your goal is to do okay deals. Your goal is for us to not get our faces ripped off, but contingent on that, you know, do as much as we can to bail out the industry. And that was the higher goal, was trying to backstop places rather than maximizing on these deals. No, I would have loved other people to do it. Like, I think it would have been great.
So you went in, you bought some companies. Were those investments profitable?
Mixed is basically the answer. I think some are going to turn out to be profitable, some won't be. Like, one of them certainly, I mean, with Voyager, I think, you know, there's $70 million there that we put in that I'm not sure we're ever seeing that $70 million again. And so, you know, we had to make snap judgment calls, and we made them such that if things turned out well, they'd be good investments, and if they turned out badly, they'd be bad investments, but we sort of limited the amount that we could lose from it.
Why do so many young people seem so attracted to crypto? I mean, I know there are people from all over the world of all ages, but it seems like young people particularly are very interested. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, partially it's a new thing that's going to appeal to younger people, but I think another aspect of this is, if you're, you know, 21 years old and you're trying to get access to markets, you want to be able to trade, to invest. You can sign up for an account on a crypto exchange and get full market access. If you try and get that same level of access in equities and commodities, you can't get it. You're going to end up with heavily intermediated access that has, like, pretty limited amounts of real interactiveness, limited amounts of liquidity, limited amounts of size, limited amounts of market data. And so I think for a, you know, natively digital generation that's looking to take more control of their finances, actually being able to do it with crypto is a big difference.
So in your own case, you got involved with crypto at what age?
I guess it was 25 or so.
And did you ever imagine that at 25, when you got involved, you would now be one of the most important people in the crypto world and have become a multi-billionaire?
No, no, although the crypto world has also grown quite a bit since I got involved. But I was surprised at how big things grew in general, how big, you know, I was able to grow things. I thought there was a chance of it. Like, I did see pretty high upside when I got involved. I was surprised that we actually got there.
So today you're running FTX. You started FTX in what year?
2019.
And what does it actually do?
So it's a cryptocurrency exchange is what we call it, but really it's a combination of a few different businesses. If you compare it to traditional finance, right, you have, you know, the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, ICE, and CME as the exchanges, and that's where bids and offers cross. But you don't go to NewYorkStockExchange.com to send an order. They are primarily the sort of back-end trading infrastructure. Separately, you have brokerages, FCMs, and other businesses that sit in the front that, you know, consumers access. And then you have different settlement and sort of custody parties sitting in the middle there. in crypto, all of that gets squashed traditionally into one entity. And so what FTX is, it's sort of all of those things. It's a back-end, matching engine, risk engine, custody system, say front-end, mobile app, website, API, and everything in between, so that, if you want to buy or sell a Bitcoin, you can go to ftx.com and, we offer all the services necessary to do that, except for buying and selling.
So you got involved because you thought it would be a creative new area to get involved with, but was making a lot of money at one of your goals?
Yeah, it was. And in particular, when I was in college, I sort of went to a lot of charities that I really respected and said, hey, what can I do to help you guys out? Like, do you want me to work for you? And they basically said, not really. I mean, you could, but it'd be kind of mediocre. What they say is they'd rather my money than my time. And so I ended up going onto Wall Street and then getting involved, with crypto with the goal of, it was a huge amount of logistical work. Like, finding the trades was the easy part. The hard part was getting the account, sending wire transfers, opening up entities, and all of the other sort of operational work that went into actually being able to exit.
The crypto industry seems to want to be regulated by the CFTC, and some people want the SEC to be the principal regulator. Do you have a view on this?
So in the end, both are going to be regulators. And, the CFTC is going to regulate commodity futures. So it's going to regulate, very likely, futures on tokens that are not securities. The SEC is very likely going to end up regulating spot security token markets. And there's some territory in between there when you look at spot commodity markets, when you look at what a security token futures regime might look like. Those may end up as joint regimes. They may end up in one place or the other. In principle, I'm fine with either regulator or any combination of them. I think that the non-security token aspect of this is a nice fit for the CFTC's regime.
Now, in our country, when you want to have some influence with government, very often people make campaign contributions, as they're called, and you've become a large donor to political candidates. Is it because you want some influence on the policy of crypto, or is it just you think these candidates are good public servants?
It's mostly just looking for good public servants. Like, that is by far the most important thing to me. And look, there are a lot of issues that matter, but there's also just this correlated aspect of, like, are they going to be fighting to what they think is right for the country in general? And, the single issue that I have sort of spent the most time, thinking about the most money, donating to on the political side is pandemic prevention, which has nothing to do with crypto. But it's, ultimately what I think is, one of the most important issues for the world over the next.
So I have not bought any cryptocurrencies. I have invested in companies that service the industry, but I haven't bought crypto myself. Let's suppose I said I wanted to buy some cryptocurrencies. Yep. What would you recommend to me or anybody else?
Well, first thing is, I try not to give investment advice. And what I would say is the most effective and, useful thing you can do is just try everything out. Take $10, feed it through every protocol, feed it through every exchange. See what it's like, get a first-hand experience of using a blockchain explorer, doing a trade, and that will teach you a lot about how the industry functions. I think I've been really interested in a few different areas of the space. I think I've been interested in scalable blockchains. I've been interested in, obviously, in the exchange and platform space, especially on the regulated side. And then I'm super excited about the potential for blockchain-based social media, to the extent that there are projects coming out, in that area around remittances and payments and around market structure. Those are the places that I'm looking at the most right now.
In the case of cryptocurrencies today,
Yep.
Would you think now's a time to get in, it's good, or now is a time to wait to see where the market's going?
So I think what I would say is there's potentially a lot of profit you could make. You could also lose, though. Like, things can go up, things can go down. There is, a lot of upside potential. The biggest thing I would say is don't put in more than you're, fine losing. Like, don't put in money that you would be really, really sad to lose into, crypto right now. Think of it more as an upside play.